Oh, I see.
There we go.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Okay, we're good to go.
Now we can start.
We can start. David is now having a quorum and we're now at 9:06.
Okay, we got our technical issues out of the way. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order and we're going to start with attendance in the room. And then staff will poll who's online. Dorothy, start us.
Dorothy Banashewski, Facilities Construction.
David Bropes, Facilities Construction.
Marquise Canyon, Facilities Construction.
Michael Guida, CORC.
Holly Hahn, Office of the General Counsel.
Michael Tubiolo, Facilities Construction.
David Dolan, Chief Facilities Management.
David Porter, CORC.
Barbara Myers, Construction Purchasing. Prince Michael Cork.
In the corner, please. Sir.
I'm Damien Steger. I'm with the Beck Group.
Shreve Habit, White's Construction.
John Levinson, Rail Enterprises, representing Ziskovich and no longer representing Gordon Smith. Also, for those of you who didn't get it, the email that went out this morning that John Loki.
Yeah, sad news.
How's everybody? This is Ziskovich. I'm Khalid Ifarouin. I'm a superintendent with the Beck Group.
Mario Rodriguez with the Beck Group. Nice to meet you.
Renee Ray with Randolph Construction Group.
George Perez, Facilities Construction.
Bob Bliss, Office of Inspector General.
James Campbell, Chief Operating Officer. James Farrell, Facilities Construction.
Jacob Katz, Turtle Construction. Colin Stevens with Verdex Construction.
Carson Proctor, Proctor Construction.
Okay, and then do our online people.
Bruce Alexander.
Present.
Jim Ald.
Virginia Ferris.
Yeah, speak up. The speaker's over here.
Okay. Jim Ald.
Yeah, Jim Ald here.
John
Cool.
Cheshire.
Yeah, John Cheshire. Say, I didn't hear whatever John Livingston had to say. If you could repeat it when we get to the end.
Oh my God.
John, the message was, we had some sad news to report that a colleague of all of ours, John Loki, has passed away. We just received, a lot of folks just received an email this morning advising of his passing. I'm not sure if you're familiar with John, but he's worked for a number of the construction companies in our region for a number of years. So a lot of us have come.
Thank you.
know.
Kevin Wilkinson.
Present.
Lisa Rivas.
Present.
Michael Gilfan.
Present.
That's everyone.
And
Virginia Ferris here.
Yes.
I marked you down, Miss Ferris, after you said that earlier.
Okay, thank you.
and our
And Miss Gloria Branch.
Good morning.
Morning.
check me.
Dorothy, Tom Berger wasn't on. Did he have an excused absence?
He has not requested one to me.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to reach out to him after the meeting and see where he was. Okay, I don't have anything to report except we have a resignation from CORC for somebody that's been on for a while, Tradrick McCoy. He has taken a position with the Florida AG's office and decided that either that would be a conflict or too much work and he wouldn't be able to serve on CORC anymore. And as of, I think, 2 days ago, his resignation was effective immediately. So we're down one more person. So I think we're short 3.
Now at 11.
We're short 3, right? We have 11.
I just wanted to also acknowledge that Mr. Sanchez was on. I didn't say that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good point.
That is all I have. Anyone with a conflict of interest or been approached by a lobbyist for anything being discussed today? Hearing none. Any changes to the agenda by anyone? Hearing none. Public comments? Hearing none. Let's go right to the consent agenda. The big one. FC1. I wanted that pulled. FC2.
I'd like that pulled.
Okay.
Kevin Wilkinson.
Yep. FC3. FC4. FC5. FC6. I wanted that pulled. FC7. FC8.
Yes, Cheshire.
Okay. FC9. FC10.
Gelfand.
Got it. FC11.
Gelfand.
Got it. FC12.
I'll pull it.
Guida, got it. Okay. PC1.
Gelfand.
PC2. Too late, already marked it accepted. PC3.
I'll pull it.
PC4. PC5.
Cheshire, yes.
Got it. PC6. PC7.
Cheshire,
Got it. PC8. And PC9.
Move items not pulled to go forward.
All right, need a second on that?
Second.
Second.
By Franz. Any comments, discussion? All right, staff, poll us, please.
Bruce Alexander,
Agree.
David Porter,
Yes.
France Makabu,
Yes.
Jim Ald,
Yes.
John Cheshire,
yes.
Kevin Wilkinson,
Yes.
Lisa Rivas, Lisa Rivas,
You can come back to her. Maybe she's on a call.
Michael Gelfand,
Yes.
Michael Guida,
Yes.
Virginia Ferris,
Yes.
Her name's Revis.
Revis, Lisa Revis,
Quadra is absent.
Okay, I guess we need to mark her as not voting or absent for that vote.
Yes.
I had pulled FC1 and it was on number 8. And it was a kind of a common question I had. Is it not a good idea for all canopies in the future that we consider part of the budget to replace the lights when we do a renovation to get rid of the sodium vapor and go with LED? It's better lumen output, it's better long lasting, it's more energy efficient. I just don't know if that pays for the cost difference of just getting rid of the old lights like we did here.
It does. There's a relatively short payback when we're talking capital land, from 5 to 10 years for that kind of payback on those lights. So it's definitely a good thing to do. As you know, with the first referendum, we're kind of limited with what was on the blue sheets of what we can do. So if it's listed as exterior lighting, we've been doing it. If not, then we're going to go back with the next referendum and take care of those.
Okay, so the plan, now all I wanted to make sure is that our plan going forward was that we're trying to replace all with LED.
100%. We have a whole program
Fine.
established to do that.
Good, answered my question. I have nothing else on PC1. Anyone else?
or FC1.
FC1, sorry. Need a motion?
Move to go forward.
Okay, by Virginia. Need a second? Got some feedback there. Is that Michael? Second.
No, he actually had a question.
Oh, yeah, question.
You had a question, Michael?
Yes, give me one moment. My apologies. I'm just having a couple of tech problems here. And I appreciate the memo that came through providing explanations for many items, which helped out. With reference to item 4, the conservatory,
We're down to item 4.
the modular relocation. That's just for design services. Do we have an estimate as to what the actual construction costs are going to be on that?
We do. I don't have that in front of me right now. I don't know if Louise, if you're on, yeah, she put her hand up.
Go ahead, Louise.
We don't have a GMP proposal yet for that. The contractor was waiting to go through to redesign prior to confirming any estimates.
Do you have a ballpark estimate based on your budget, Louise?
I handed the project over to Michael, but I will check and get back to you with that.
I've got an issue on that. If we're approving the design, without having an idea as to what the expense is overall.
Well, what we do know is that the redesign was for something that was not as expensive as the original design for a lift station.
This is the modular?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Gelfand, we actually have an annual program, capital program to do modular classrooms. So we generally do have a ballpark estimate. Now, they vary, of course, on the number of units, because as you can imagine, if we're putting in 15 modular classrooms at a location, we have an economy of scale compared to 2. And I don't know, we want to say like roughly $300,000-$400,000.
Usually the premium is like 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so we think it's going to be a couple $100,000 less, but we don't have that exact information yet. But we usually get a ROM. We almost always get a ROM of what it's going to cost before we decide to make a yay, nay decision to go forward with it. I just don't have it in front of me.
By the way, for the rest of the room, ROM is a rough order of magnitude estimate. Sorry. Guy in the cheap seat.
The restrooms were part of the original budget for the project, or is this a change?
It's a change.
Also.
So the restrooms, they're more of a convenience factor. They weren't code required. So when we started the mods, we decided not to do the restrooms. And as we looked at it farther with the students that were going to be out there, it wasn't practical for them to have to go inside the school. So we decided to add these restrooms on. These are done on an ad hoc basis. So we typically don't add restrooms unless they're code required. But in this case, we felt like it was necessary.
So how does that work then? It's on an ad hoc basis for, determining which schools get them and which don't.
Based on the need, based on the travel distance, because you meet code, it may be inconvenience. What students are in those spaces? Are the ESC students? What their ages are? All those kind of factors weigh into whether or not we justify putting the extra expense for the restrooms in.
I will say I do have a concern that if we're doing it for some schools, why don't we do it for other schools? And I'm not certain what the criteria is also in terms of distance and difficulty for students. Do we differentiate by age group, class, as to whether there's automatically beyond code?
Yeah, beyond code, yes, that's one of the factors. Obviously, the code's straightforward, whether we need them or not, right? If they're needed, we put them in. If they're not, we typically don't. This was one of the cases that we looked at it based on the age of the students that were going in that space and the distance they do have to travel to the restrooms. It made sense to put the restrooms in there. So typically, we would like to do that analysis up front, but this came after the fact. Once we got into the design and talked to the principal and looked at it farther, we decided it was worth it.
And this is a K-8, so at the time, at the initiating of the project, it could have been anything. And then as I said, we figured out later on who the student population was going to use it and the need for it.
Well, this is currently in an elementary school, K5, right? K6?
Well, it's K8. It was built as a K8, wasn't it?
Well, it was built as a K5 with the opportunity to expand it to a K8, and it has expanded over the years to a K8.
So we're talking about adding for 7th and 8th graders, which 7th and 8th graders then?
I think 7th and 8th graders.
Everyone else shares my
Already
mind
there.
on the equity level on this. You know, this school does have a rather strong parent base advocating for their students that we don't always see in other schools. And, you know, my concern is, especially as this has come well after the initial design and proposal, that we're adding it. I understand, you know, having once had, you know, many centuries ago, a child in elementary school, the desire to have bathrooms closed, but I'm concerned at it being added at the design stage and that this is not a district-wide standard.
Michael, I just find it tough to have a district-wide standard when we're putting modulars sometimes up against the school and sometimes they're halfway out into the ball fields. There kind of is no standard. We put them where we can.
Most of them, though, are within relatively short walking distances to.
No, not at all.
Many of them are out beyond let's say the playground area. So you might actually have an entire playground area in between the main building and the opportunity to put those modulars in. So it varies, as Mr. Porter said, it varies on site, but very rarely do we get to locate them directly adjacent to a building.
So in this case, where are these going? Are these going on the northwest corner of the site? Because I believe that there's a field on that corner, and it's the parking lot on the south side.
Trying to think.
We have a site plan.
Louise does.
It's in the very center of the campus where we had no access to restrooms except for out by the play field. And the classrooms, the buildings that are close to it, the restroom is quite a walk from that center area. So they requested the restrooms right there so they would not have to escort these students way across campus to access these restrooms, which are not within the 200-foot walking distance. If you do an aerial view of the campus itself, the ball fields, these are right here, close to those ball fields that's out there, or that play field that they have.
Yeah.
The chillier, it is on the side of the classroom areas.
I'm actually looking at an overhead right now at the site, and I see in the center of the campus there's a circular walkway and what looks like a cemented gathering area. Are these portables going on the cemented area or on the ball field?
No, in the very center there's a grassy area.
Yes, this circular grassy area.
Yep. And there seems to be an entrance to the school just to the east of there.
Michael, we have a big agenda, as you know, so I think you can go ahead and object to this if you want, but I'd like to move this along.
I'd just like to make a comment that there was a recent code change. Previously, the code only allowed single restrooms in grades K through 2. And it was recently changed so that older kids now may have a single restroom. And that's kind of what drove this. The school wanted them, but we weren't allowed to provide them. And so now we are providing them. So
in the previous code, the kids would have had to have walked 200 feet plus over to the other restrooms.
correct.
Wow.
So making it district-wide standard is kind of going retroactive right now.
It was easier than providing rollerblades to all the kids.
Also have a question with reference to 11 Melaleuca and the security gates. On the
11.
lot.
Yeah.
What's the question?
What was your question on that, Michael?
On this one, this was an after the fact fire marshal request to the gate, not by the school police.
No, we don't control the fire marshal.
I know, that's why I'm asking that, just to confirm.
So we offer the fire departments, AHAs, a courtesy review of all of our projects to come through and walk and inspect it and provide recommendations. And if we feel like it's warranted, then we make that change. So we are the AHJ, but we do provide that courtesy because they're the ones that are going to be servicing the schools. So.
All righty. On 22, the Chuck Shaw School, what is a barred wall mount? B-A-R-D.
It's just a small AC unit that hangs on the wall, like you find in a modular unit or something like that.
Then it's an exterior wall mounted box. It's an air conditioning unit.
All righty. Those are the questions I have. Thank you.
Okay, anything else on FC1?
Move
Need a
to
motion.
go forward.
Okay, Virginia, need a second?
Second.
All right, any other comments or discussion? Okay, staff, poll us, please.
Bruce Alexander,
Yes.
David Porter,
Yes.
France Makabu,
Yes.
Jim Ald,
Yes.
John Cheshire,
Yes.
Kevin Wilkinson,
Yes.
Lisa Revis,
Yes.
Michael Gelfand,
No.
Michael Guida,
Yes.
Virginia Ferris.
Yes.
Michael, we need your brief comment for the no.
With reference to the district's policy on modular restrooms, not convinced that we have an equitable policy on it.
Okay, thank you. And for staff, we usually like the negative or the dissenting comments to be noted in the board report
Yes.
so that when the board gets that, they'll know all sides of the opinions by CORC. Okay, FC2, Kevin, you pulled that.
Yes, I just was looking at it. My dad used to have a saying, when you're in the Navy and you're new on a ship, shut your mouth. So I've relied heavily on Mike and John Cheshire and others, and I appreciate that. On this one, though, the reason I'm asking is it seems to me that there's a simple issue, and that is if there's an allowance item, theoretically, for a GC and for $500,000 and the GC only uses 400, that the contract should clearly tell you the answer to whether the GC is entitled to overhead and profit. And I'm asking Holly, actually, in a way, isn't it easy to have at least a sentence in all the standard contracts to define the issue, yes or no? And in that way, you don't have to ever revisit the issue?
Well, when I reviewed this, I believe the contract is clear. We could certainly, in light of this particular situation, add an additional sentence to clarify it. But when I reviewed everything, I felt that it was clear that they're not entitled to work, that they're not entitled to overhead and profit. But we certainly could go back and for future contracts, add an additional sentence to really spell it out.
I knew you'd have a good answer. Thank you. The other issue, though, is, and this is a general issue, and I shouldn't digress without permission, but is there such a concept of materiality in accounting such that when we're looking at these things, we have a ACU number 3 for $342? Is there ever a policy where CORC doesn't have to review something less than $10,000 or so? We have 44 people, 38 people at this meeting online anyway. And it's just, why are we talking about $342.50? Is there a threshold, and I'll defer to Mike and people who've been on the board longer, that the district can do what they want to the board and it doesn't have to be referred to CORC if it's not less than, say, $10,000 issue, unless it's what I call a precedent issue, where if you do something small, bad with a small amount, then in litigation later, they can use that as a course of dealings against you. That's just a question. It doesn't exactly pertain to this specific topic.
Staff?
Yeah, there's no policy that says that we can do that, but I'd be open to that, I wouldn't.
And Mr. Wilkinson, yes, we are, as you probably have heard some of the discussions, we have been on staff level, we've been working on a number of policy, procedure, and contract changes. We're still in the midst of that. We're expecting to have a feedback from an audit review company that's going to help us, including some of our, as a matter of fact, we mentioned even policy this morning about CORC. Certainly, it's something that we can consider including and being more specific. I think it makes perfect sense. If there is the opportunity to be very, very specific. I just know that in our experiences as well, there's a lot of varying justifications for it. So, but should we choose to add language into our contract and/or if our policy, we would certainly bring it back to CORC for your feedback as well. So it wouldn't be blind.
Michael.
I think both areas of inquiry are well taken. On the contract review, David, the chair has been very keen on asking questions regarding that, and it may be appropriate to take a look at that. On the threshold for review, I have agonized in many of my client meetings over $100 budget changes and the amount of time that everyone's around the table. We have discussed at many points the different thresholds for review and staff approvals of projects. And as much as my eyes glaze at a very small number, I think for the public's perception, requiring at least approval to a consent calendar probably makes sense. Because there's a different level of review at this stage, and it's not just in terms of efficiency of the committee itself, but to provide reassurance to the public, even though the causes for CORC's creation, which are decades ago, many staff generations between us, and the relationship between the public and staff has improved tremendously, and there is trust where there wasn't before.
Very good. Okay. Anything else on FC2? Kevin, yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to respond. I guess the answer is as I say, the $342 issue is as a member, and I think Bruce has also articulated, do we have a great deal of trust in the district, and to have them report about $342 in a meeting with 40 people. That's why I'm saying, a threshold might be necessary, and would say we can trust the district on the small, as I say, unless it's a precedent, unless they use that little number to then argue next time this is the precedent for a bigger number.
Bruce.
Yeah, I agree with Kevin on this one. I think that 10,000. I was actually going to propose $25,000, given that we have jurisdictional increases that have occurred over the decades, but $10,000, I think, for purposes of this discussion, is more than reasoned and reasonable. And my request of the of those involved in terms of making this kind of decision to bring back to CORC for approval, I'm just giving you a preemptive that should there be a decision that there's a $10,000 threshold, absent a policy issue that can give rise to disputes potentially on matters irrespective of their fiscal value, that I would be strongly in favor of supporting a $10,000 threshold for our approval. And I don't think, in my judgment, I don't think that would violate the public's trust as it relates to CORC's mission to ensure appropriate expenditures. And if any of us thought that any item that had a value of less than $10,000 that was reflected in any of the minutes that we would be receiving in advance of these live virtual sessions, that we had a concern that that could be a poor precedent, we would always have an opportunity to state an objection to it, but that as a default approval of any expenditure of less than $10,000, I'm strongly in favor of that for the reasons that I've expressed. Thank you.
I'll just question, why don't you just let it go to consent? We don't have to review it. If any of these items you think are acceptable, $10 to $5,000, just let it go to consent without pulling it, and it doesn't get discussed and take time.
Sounds like a great idea.
Virginia.
Yes, I just wanted to comment and support Michael's comment about the history of our oversight committee. I started serving on back in the early 90s when it was called the Admiral's Blue Ribbon Committee. And it was formed because there was a lot of questions about what was going on in the school district construction department. It then morphed into this oversight committee. We've done a great deal to boost the perception and the actuality of the trust in our department. I have great trust in the construction department, but I do think we have to be very careful because we did work very hard to build the public's trust. So I just wanted to make that comment.
Okay, we're back to FC2 where I need a motion for that.
I'll make a motion. Second.
All right, second by Virginia, first by Michael Guida. Any further comment on FC2? All right, staff?
Bruce Alexander,
Yes.
David Porter,
Yes.
Brent Makabu,
Yes.
Jim Ald,
Yes.
John Cheshire,
Yes.
Kevin Wilkinson,
Yes.
Lisa Revis,
Yes.
Michael Gilfan,
Yes.
Michael Guida,
Yes.
Virginia Farish.
Yes.
Okay, FC6, I pulled that one. And my question on that, was just finding in this particular agenda, a number of generator project delays. It didn't cost anything, was $0, but it just seems like there's a consistent issue with generators. And I was hoping that staff understood that and had some type of plan of action to kind of minimize our future delays with generators.
So I will tell you that the district made a decision at some point to move the generators inside. Okay, from a longevity standpoint, they last longer. But when you move a generator inside, it's very finicky about passing the tests required, load bank tests and things to have to make sure everything's optimal. And sometimes we run into situations where we have to, and it's one of those things that no matter what you put on paper, when you get in the field, airflow is a little bit different and things aren't exactly the way it's designed. So we have had a few schools where we've had to go through there and cause some delays, and we got it worked out. But it's a lot of trial and error to get that to work out to where it functions properly.
Code requirements have changed. The generator, we used to be put in a space that it met code. Now the clearance is required no longer.
It needs a gymnasium size.
It
room.
does,
Yeah.
it does. And we end up with all those late shifts.
But once we get it dialed in, we test them every year, and once we get dialed in, they generally pass every year. So it just takes some effort that caused some delays, and our contractors work really well with us, being out there for a lot of hours trying to get those worked out and not charging basically. It's part of their scope. So we're very appreciative of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a note, never design an indoor generator with one exterior wall. That's just a common note.
Okay.
Performs a whole lot better with two exterior walls.
Yep.
To get that airflow through because it overheats and you got issues.
Exactly.
All right. Anything else on FC6? If not, need a motion?
Move to go forward.
And I just have one question, Mr.
Yeah.
Chair. On that
Yes,
one,
Mike.
it appeared that there were 4 plan revisions on that, which seemed to be excessive. If I have the right one.
Looking through, I believe that was part of the same issue. The plan revisions were to try some trial and error basically on that generator room, getting some things to work. I have it right now.
Yeah, I think that's the one.
I'll leave it to the engineers to comment on that, but, I always thought that, 3 and you're out.
Yeah. The issue here is that these are going into existing rooms. So it's a lot easier, obviously, when you design something from scratch to make those accommodations. But.
Yeah, I wasn't real upset with the revisions, Michael. It was pretty common for working out something in an existing room.
All righty, thank you.
Okay.
Motion's on the table.
Yes, motion's on the table. We had a first and a second. And any other comments on FC6? Staff?
Who was the second? I'm sorry.
Virginia.
Who was the second?
I'll just
Second, the motion.
second it.
Michael Guida? Okay. All right. Go ahead, staff.
Bruce Alexander,
Yes.
David Porter,
Yes.
Prince Makavu,
Yes.
Jim Ald,
Yes.
John Cheshire,
Yes.
Kevin Wilkinson,
Yes.
Lisa Revis,
Yes.
Michael Gelfand,
Yes.
Michael Guida,
Yes.
Virginia Parrish.
Yes.
Okay, FC8, John Cheshire.
Yes, this is got regarding Lego and returning overhead and profit on allowances. Am I not correct that typically we don't allow overhead and profit on allowances in the GMP?
That's correct. Typically, we do not. This one was approved that way, so that's why it's a little bit of an oddball.
Did CORC review this particular one?
No, this is a re-roof project. It's a term contract.
So
Roofer.
are you saying that the overhead and profit should not have been in the contract, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, there's different ways to do it as long as it's consistent from the start. When you do the GMP to when you have the reconciliation, it technically works dollar wise. So it comes out to the same number, but typically we don't have that in there.
Okay, I'm wondering if other Lego projects are going against the norm and including overhead and profit on their allowances in their contracts.
I don't know. We generally have a pretty thorough review process for all of our GMPs, but occasionally something slips through. Like I said, the math works out to be the same, but typically we don't include the overhead on the allowances.
When I do a reconciliation, change order review, I always go back to the GMP to verify whether or not it was included or not.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. I've tried to do that, and the contractor doesn't make it clear if the overhead and profit was included on the allowance. So how would we know unless he offers it?
Basically, I go through the numbers and they usually have what the percentage is for overhead and profit. So I calculate it to find out which numbers were included in their calculation of overhead and profit. In this particular case, if you add up, they showed their divisions 1 through 33, and then they showed over allowances, and then they showed overhead and profit. And when I added it all up and used their percentage, the number they had for overhead and profit was including the allowances. So,
Okay, good catch, but let's just make sure, at least on Lego in the future, that they are consistent and do not show overhead and profit on allowances. Those are my only comments.
we've had some other contractors do it as well. And unfortunately, we have caught it in the past. I can't say that we've caught every time, but I do check it every time. So I'm pretty confident that we've got most of them.
We have lots and lots of discussions in CORC about overhead and profit. I mean, I would just love to see us get a policy that standardizes overhead and profit for what's allowed, It's not allowed, and it goes as an addendum or something, an attachment to every contract we've got. So that, Dorothy, if it's not you here catching it because you've got all this experience and somebody else doesn't, it shouldn't be something somebody catches. It should actually be a document the contractor has to give us. It's simplified.
And we have discussed that, and Michael and his team are working on that.
In the progress of having a GMP guidelines procedures that we can hand out to all the CMs so that everybody's playing on the same rule. And that we're reviewing it the same way.
But it then needs to go back to reference the contract to make sure that what we're telling them for overhead and profit is actually backed up in a document they've signed.
We just had that conversation yesterday. As a matter of fact, the three of us were together working out whether it's a form or it's a language in the contract or a combination.
It's a combination, yeah.
Kevin. You're muted, Kevin. You're muted.
Sorry. Legally speaking, it seems that every contract that has a GMP with a $500,000 allowance always includes overhead and profit. I can't even imagine how the GC would say no, the allowance. Sometimes allowances could be millions of dollars. And to me, it's always going to include implied overhead and profit. So getting the GC to say it one way or another is counterproductive because the policy is there is no overhead and profit. So they don't get it because it's part of the GMP somewhere in there. The overhead and profit is incorporated on allowance items and non-allowance items. So number one is we don't have to, if we have clear terms, we don't have to struggle with this anymore. But asking the GC whether it is or not seems, it seems to me it is, and the GCs will always try to do that.
Well, they earn the overhead and profit as they use that allowance. So that's why the math works out to be the same. So if it's not included at the beginning, as they use it, they earn overhead and profit because it becomes part of the GMP.
Right. And unused is not, okay. I'm on the same page. Thank you.
Yeah, as long as that's spelled out clearly in the contract that we can point to and say, no, you're not getting paid overhead and profit on allowances you didn't use.
And it is.
Okay.
In the clear, it is. It's just whether or not you put it up front and then take it back, or you never put it in there until they use it. So it's
okay. Anything else on FT8?
Move to go forward.
Okay, thank you. Need a second?
Second.
Second by John. Any other comments, discussion? All right, staff?
Bruce Alexander,
Yes.
David Porter,
Yes.
Brent Makabu,
Yes.
Jim Ald,
Yes.
John Cheshire,
Yes.
Kevin Wilkinson,
Yes.
Lisa Revis,
Yes.
Michael Gelfand,
Yes.
Michael Guida,
Yes.
Virginia Ferris.
Yes.
Okay. FC10, Michael Gelfand.
Get to my page here. For this one, at the Roosevelt, was this part of the original program design?
yes, this was going to be a direct owner purchase for the equipment. And as we got into this, so it's really $0 coming out of a different part of the budget. It's actually under our budget. We decided that there's substantial coordination that needs to happen with because of the nature of the equipment. So we decided to put it through the CM so they can get their subcontractors involved and make sure that's fully coordinated for the install.
All right, thank you. Seems like good change. Appreciate it.
Anything else on FC10 by anyone? John?
Yeah, I'm the one that had the comments about the low bid and clarifications to the bid document or their bids. And I don't like having to ask these questions and reviewing these. The low bidder on this, I forget what it was. He won the bid by $100 or something. There should be clear documentation in the backup that shows that the bids were compared appropriately. And like I say, documentation that says, yes, my bid includes this, or no, my bid doesn't, but it's $7,500 adjustment and it wasn't included. If it is included in there, then we won't have these questions, but I'll take the CM's word at it that he did do a fair evaluation. Thank you.
There's actually a leveling sheet in there that shows that $7,500 and some other leveling that they did, unless I'm missing something.
Yeah, I understand the leveling,
Okay.
but who provided the leveling numbers? That was my question. Was it the bidders, or was it just the CM saying, okay, I think it should be $7,500 for cleanup and removal of cartons? I forget the other things right now, but they said, yes, they got those numbers from the bidder. Well, then include it in your pricing.
Understood.
Okay, anything else on FC10? Need a motion?
Move to go forward.
A second?
A second.
Second by France. Any other comments? There.
Bruce Alexander,
Yes.
David Porter,
Yes.
France Makabu,
Yes.
Jim Ald,
Yes.
John Cheshire,
Yes.
Kevin Wilkinson,
Yes.
Lisa Revis,
Yes.
Michael Gelfand,
Yes.
Michael Guida,
Yes.
Virginia Farish.
Yes.
Okay, FC11, Michael Gelfand.
Just a question as to, it's almost $400,000 as to the reasonableness of these expenses for fencing, plug and the dugout.
I'm sorry, as far as whether we should do it or not, or whether or not the price is fair, I'm not quite following you. Sorry.
The price is fair. It's a very, very large amount of money. And,
It is.
I don't have the ability to evaluate the expense.
So our estimators evaluated it and determined it fair and reasonable, and we also bounced it off. We have a fence vendor that does work for us on contract, and he was not quite, but almost double that cost to do that. It gets into some it's because it's the backstop, right? It's a very high fence that needs to meet wind loads and has a deep foundation, and there's muck out there, which further complicates it. And in addition to the backstop, it's all the outfield fencing that goes with that. So that's relatively straightforward, but the backstop is the complicated part. So we got a couple different checks on it and it checked out. But we said the same thing. That just seems expensive and verified, and
That's why I
it
went to
is.
Gomez and they
But
said we're
it is
double.
the going rate, yeah.
I had the same thought, Michael. I'm thinking, wait a minute, chain link, galvanized fencing, what? Yeah.
Even anticipating wind load, and perhaps we ought to be designing these things to break away because the cost for the wind load doesn't make sense, and we just rebuild them after a storm.
That's not an option.
Code doesn't allow that.
Because then you have flying debris around students, which is not a good idea.
Well, I don't think you're going to be having students in a school when there's a hurricane. Unless
No, but you don't want the backstop in the middle of the cafeteria when the storm recedes.
And we have storms that blow up on any given day that are not particularly in a hurricane, that just, it's a summer storm and winds blow up.
50 mile an hour winds will knock that down and send it across the yard. Yeah.
And we don't have that option because it needs a building permit and the building code requires wind load calculations and wind load resistance. So it's not for us to decide.
I do appreciate your perspective. You are right. Yes. Maybe we put in escrow some money to cover the replacement each time. It does, you do have a valid point there, but yes, unfortunately we are bound by the code.
Anything else on that, Michael?
I think he's muted.
He's muted.
Appreciate the words of sympathy and joining in on the questioning, and let's move forward.
You want to make a motion on that?
I'll let someone else.
Okay.
Move to go
Need a motion on
forward.
that?
Move to go forward, and I think it's a really good point, Michael, about the cost.
Need a second on FC11?
Second.
Second by France. Staff?
Bruce Alexander,
Yes.
David Porter,
Yes.
France Makabu,
Yes.
Jim Ald,
Did we lose everybody?
Jim Ald,
We might have lost everybody. Did we lose the meeting? Oh, there we go.
Hello there.
We're still here. You may not want us.
John Cheshire,
Yes.
Kevin Wilkinson,
Yes.
Lisa Revis,
Yes.
Michael Gelfand,
Yes.
Michael Guida,
Yes.
Virginia Farish,
Yes.
Jim Ald.
Yes.
Okay, FC 12, Mike Guida.
If you go to page 2 in page 3, it's, under reason for change. The last sentence, it says plan changes, were not available at the time of purchase order. Used to close the construction services. So does that mean that they bid the project without plans? And if so, would they use to bid on the project and do we approve changes?
Yeah, so they did a hard bid. There's a hard bid project. It wasn't the CM. So they bid the initial set of drawings and then this change came after the fact of the coordination. That probably could be worded a little bit.
But it was like one parking lot was added to the project, right?
No. It wasn't a whole parking lot. It was a connection, a stair connection and a drive connection to the other lot was added.
Okay.
But the whole parking lot was the scope to begin with. That's correct.
So how'd they understand what the scope was? Who defined that? Was it on the drawing?
Plans were revised.
Okay, they were revised. Okay,
Well, when they say the plan changes, the revisions that came through after.
gotcha. Okay. That's all I needed was clarification.
Michael Gelfand.
I was trying to find the minutes and recall, we had an extensive discussion on the parking lots by the golf course, maybe 2 or 3 meetings ago.
Yes.
I'm wondering if this was part of that, and I know that there was consternation about it, but I think we moved forward. Could someone refresh me?
Yeah, we did discuss it 2 or 3 meetings ago where they were merging 2 parking lots, I believe, at the back of the school. And there was an elevation difference, so there was a ramp that was needed to get to connect the 2 lots. This is all part of that job.
Right. Design services contracted.
I think that's what I brought up.
Well, I think it may have been the design services for the additional.
Yeah, it was under design services, Michael, that this was first discussed.
And now it's coming back. We did have a question as to, what would be the estimated cost when it was going to be completed.
So there are some other elements in here that were not directly to the ACUA change. There were some unforeseen conditions also in this one.
Okay. All right. Anything else on FC 12 by anyone? Need a motion?
Move to go forward.
Second?
Second.
Second by Mike Guida.
Bruce Alexander,
Yes.
David Porter,
Yes.
France Makabu,
Yes.
Jim Ald,
Yes.
John Cheshire,
Yes.
Kevin Wilkinson,
Yes.
Lisa Revis,
Yes.
Michael Gelfand,
Yes.
Michael Guida,
Yes.
Virginia Ferris,
Yes.
All right. PC 1, Michael Gelfand.
On this one, a couple of questions. You see my handwriting here. My apologies. My notes are just not as efficient this time over as they have been in the past. I lost my pen on this.
The change order to get you a new pen.
Yeah, it's
Under the threshold.
That's right.
a problem on it.
The door threshold.
Can we pass on this one and come on back and I'll get my notes better in order? My apologies.
All right. PC 2, Mike Guida.
On the first page, I think the description calls out for roof replacement. Was there anything in the documents that the insulation was provided as part of the re-roof? I see it's built up, but does it built up include the insulation? Because I remember on the FC1, there was a roof at Krista McCullough that had a change order where it had to add insulation in the roof. And I just don't want to repeat. I'm looking at this, is this a repeat of a?
I would have to look at the scope. We have so many roof projects going on right
Yeah,
now.
I know.
I could be wrong. I could probably am, but the Kristen McAuliffe was this very specific issue. It was wasn't it like the two
There's
area?
a couple of them for Krista McCullough.
Whereas
Today.
this, I think this is just a standard design, so.
There's two buildings, installed new asphalt roof, built up roofing over existing roof assembly, roof cans, new flashing.
Yeah, Michael, I think it's got to include insulation because it says remove moisture damaged roofing down to the metal deck.
Yeah, so this
Means you've got to put new insulation if you're down to the deck.
Thank you, David.
And is it defined which insulation value that is?
Yes, it is. When we take it all the way down the deck, we predefine how much needs to go back. The question mark is when we don't, what is there? That's when we have to verify.
From an energy standpoint, you want to equal it or make it better?
Right. We typically make it better. Yeah.
All right. And you're also replacing the mechanical roof curbs, which affects the AC. Is this going to be done during, there was some verbiage in there, it could be done daytime or nights?
So on our roofing projects, they typically work after the school leaves during the day. So they'll come in the evenings and do some work, and every day they make sure it's buttoned up. And then they take advantage of the weekends and then holidays to work longer hours. So there's flexibility there.
To replace the curb, they gotta crane off the rooftop unit,
Do that when students are.
replace it,
Correct.
get it all done and put it back on. So it's probably an all-day thing, half a day thing, just for.
That's a very good question, because that's essentially, that's the challenge that we have. It's not just, well, I'll let the roofer go and take care of it. It's got to be meticulously
On a
managed.
court
We don't,
there.
certain things can be done during school occupation and
So let's PMs know that's
the roofing companies, yeah.
They were going to use elementary school students and lift it up. We decided that was too much of a liability.
No, and I know I'm knocking on flat plastic now, but we actually have a really good group of roofing companies bidding on the projects these days. We've been getting a good mix of companies that are bidding on.
In the last few years, we haven't had any complaints from a school of anything, and that's pretty rare for some of our.
I was gonna say, he just.
Say that.
I started it with, they were good companies.
I'm just talking about the past. We haven't.
well, in a company. This is called Campay.
Campany.
Campany?
A lot of roofs.
Do they? Okay, I don't remember seeing their name.
Yeah, Campany's done lots and lots of roofing.
Okay.
They're new with us, more recent, but yes, they've done a lot of roofs.
Yeah, I've worked with them for years. So, yep.
All right, so I'll push to move this forward.
Okay, got a motion on PC2. You need a second on PC2?
Second.
Second by Virginia.
Second.
Yep, got it, Virginia. All right,
Second.
staff.
Oh, yeah.
All right, staff do PC2 for us, please.
Bruce Alexander,
Yes.
David Porter,
Yes.
Franz Makabu,
Yes.
Jim Auld,
Yes.
John Cheshire,
Yes.
Kevin Wilkinson,
Yes.
Lisa Revis,
Yes.
Michael Gelfand,
Yes.
Michael Guida,
Yes.
Virginia Parrish.
Yes.
All right, let's go back to PC1. You ready, Michael Gelfand?
Yeah, on Perez, there were two certificates of insurance. I just want to confirm the one at the end of the application was that was intended to update an earlier one that had expired coverages.
Correct. That's what we've started doing. If there's any questions regarding any of the documentation during the review process, we leave the original application stand as is, and then we'll add any emails to show you that correspondence, and then upload any additional documents.
All right, thanks for catching the expired coverages. On MBR, there appear to be 3 lawsuits with underground utilities apparently being hit, 2 with Bell South, and then there was a 3rd. I know it happens from time to time, but 3 of them becomes a potential warning signal, if you would.
How close together were the 3?
Yeah, I mean, if it was the same job,
Oh,
then perhaps I'd understand, but with the separate lawsuits, there would seem to be separate jobs. I don't know, just looking at it.
Not really.
Anything else, Michael?
Any response or to look to see, what was going on there? I'm just looking at that as being a trend that might be a.
I defer to them to make the business decision. I'm not part of the review committee.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on your volume of work and every lawsuit, as you know, it's very specific circumstances that we don't, if it looks like it's a major issue with fraudulent activity and stuff like that, then we look into it. But if it's just general lawsuits, we make a business decision. If it looks excessive, then we look into it. If not, then we push it on. So there's not a hard and fast rule of what that is.
Sure.
You have a company doing more volume work, they're going to have more lawsuits just by nature,
I think they only had like 6 lawsuits listed, and I'm not familiar with this vendor at all as to whether they're high volume or not. It didn't seem to be a large number of lawsuits overall.
MBR's been around for a long time. I've worked with them back in the early 2000s, and so I had no problem with them when I worked with them on previous projects, Michael.
Michael, I would think if they had 3 only on one job, and if they've been around for 20 plus years and that's all they've got, it could have just been one bad backhoe operator.
All right. And then on the T&G, again, I'm not familiar with them, but I did, unless they are a large contractor, they did have a substantial number of lawsuits.
They are.
They are a large, T&G is a large company. Right? Is that what the T&G was the one?
Yeah.
They are a large company out of Miami. They do a lot of work with Miami-Dade School District and Broward School District a little bit. So they are substantial. So there is the possibility that they may have quite a number of lawsuits just over the course of doing business.
All right. Thank you.
All right, need a motion on PC1.
To go forward.
All right, got a first, need a second.
Second.
Second by France. Staff, PC1.
Bruce Alexander,
Yes.
David Porter,
Yes.
Franz Makabu,
Yes.
Jim Ald,
Yes.
John Cheshire,
Yes.
Kevin Wilkinson,
Yes.
Lisa Revis,
Yes.
Michael Gelfand,
Yes.
Michael Guida,
Yes.
Virginia Parrish.
Yes.
PC3, Mike Guida.
Well, my comments were the same as PC2. I want to make sure that you guys have that coordinated, and if it has insulation on the roof on this one. And this one also has a building that has a roof recovery. Is there a standard that the school board has on how many times they could recover a roof before it's got to be taken down to the deck?
I don't know. I believe it's 1, but I don't know.
Yeah, 1.
One, so. Okay. But that's all I had. You guys answered it from the PC2, so I'll move this forward.
Yeah, I just want to make a general comment that I was impressed and pleased with the different roofing bids we're getting and how tight most of them are. This is way more roofing interest than we've seen in a long time. And tighter bids, which means that, they're sharpening their pencils and we're giving them the right RFP information to allow them to bid tight. All right, anything else? All right, got a first by Virginia. Need a second by someone on PC. Second by Mike Guida. Staff?
Bruce Alexander,
Yes.
David Porter,
Yes.
Franz Makabu,
Yes.
Jim Ald,
Yes.
John Cheshire,
Yes.
Kevin Wilkinson,
Yes.
Lisa Revis,
Yes.
Michael Gelfand,
Yes.
Michael Guida,
Yes.
Virginia Parrish.
Yes.
All right, PC5, John Cheshire.
Yes. Excuse me. Yes, this is a Morganti GMP for Jupiter Community High School. And I had asked the question, or I made a comment that the CM did not provide a list of names of the personnel that they had assigned to the project during construction. And the response I got back wasn't really a response. So I'm going to object to this one. We need to know who the personnel are that's going to be on the project. We use their personnel when we review the RFP, make the selection, and we need to ensure that they're using the same personnel that they proposed during the selection process.
This wasn't a selection, was it? Was this one of the,
No, this was bid.
this was bid out? Hard bid?
No, it was RFP.
RFP, all right, so it did have a selection process.
Yes,
So during the selection process, they would have presented the staff for this project.
yes.
Are they supposed to do that within the GMP then?
Yes, they are. The contract requires them to list the personnel.
It should be.
It should be in the GMP, and as John's saying, it's not. So they may need to do an addendum to their GMP just to give us that information to actually comply with the contract.
But, and forgive me, I'm having not really looked at the backup. Did they give the names of the positions that they were?
Yeah,
They give the position,
Not the names.
The names.
they give the
Cooper.
positions, not the names.
Superintendent, no, that's a Cooper Construction. Yeah, they just list positions. They don't give us people.
Okay.
So they need to give us the people that matches up with the RFP or get approval from staff for a change.
That's certainly something we can request from them and, going forward.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a good
I
catch.
would have requested that when I made the comment on Monday morning.
David was requested. And they provided it.
George Perez has indicated that.
Yeah, so Morganti was contacted and the response by Brett Martin was the same staff that was in their response to the RFP are the same staff that's going to be used in this project. They just did not include their name on the GMP, just include the titles.
There are more people listed on Exhibit D than were included in their RFP, though. And the RFP said the Cooper superintendent was to be determined. I mean, here we are 2 weeks away from starting this project, and we don't know who the SBE superintendent is going to be, apparently.
Well, staff can certainly make sure that we demand and insist on the names that were on the original Exhibit D, but and we can certainly get clarity who the person is from Cooper, despite the fact that that's not any compliance issue, because that if they said to be determined, we're gonna have to evaluate that person's resume anyway and make sure are they qualified. So we will do so prior to construction and make sure that they are satisfactory to us. And if not, as you said, we will demand somebody more suitable.
I do know on this one that this project got delayed through the GMP review. So that's all the more reason to confirm who's going to be on the project. But we'll make sure we get a full list from them.
And I just wanted to note that there, excuse me, this is a renovation project and there's no allowances in the GMP. I just wanted to confirm that. That seems kind of strange.
They confirmed that no allowances, they have contingency.
Did you all hear that, by the way? John, did you hear that response?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say their Exhibit D, which they list at least a dozen different positions they need to define with people.
Good. We will acquire that for.
Okay. Anything else on that, John?
No.
Michael Gelfand.
Did they provide a reason as to why they weren't submitting?
The reason was they provided the position name and it was the same staff as in the RFP response for the project executive project manager. At the time, they were not sure who they were going to assign as the superintendent because they were being engaged to do the pre-con phase first. The construction would come 6, 9, 12 months later. At that time, they would adjust.
So not for lacking, they have not told us that they didn't submit them for any particular reason. But as mentioned earlier, we will get clarity and validate all the names of the people that will be running the project in coordination with that Exhibit D on the RFP.
In addition to the superintendent, John, who else should we be identifying?
All of them, all the positions listed, yeah.
On page.
Yeah, it's exhibit D in the CORC items and in their GMP, and that has at least a dozen different positions listed. So what we're asking staff is to fill in the blanks with real bodies.
And make sure they're in alignment with the RFP suggested names.
Right, they need to either match up with the RFP, which was an accepted staff, or staff has to, look at the resume of who they're substituting to make sure they're acceptable. And that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Where, all of a sudden a superintendent leaves a company and he was listed to be working on the project and they have to substitute a new superintendent. Well, staff reviews that to make sure the substitution is equally or better qualified. Mr. Sanchez.
I'll just ask the question to Dave and Michael. Can we commit to getting that list to the CORC members by the end of the day?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's an easy enough thing to do, right?
Yeah, this is not hard. Yeah, absolutely, Mr. Sanchez. We will have that immediately.
Okay. Anything else by CORC members on PC5?
Yeah, just one other real quick thing. I don't see how they can develop their CM fee without knowing the names of and the salaries of the people that they're going to have on the project. But that's all I had. I'll make a motion that CORC move PC5 forward to the board without objection.
Okay, need a second?
Second.
Second by Virginia. Any other comments, questions?
I would move to amend that subject to the contractor providing a list of names and that it being acceptable to staff.
I'll second that amendment.
No. The item as is submitted is acceptable from staff's perspective. The item that is submitted is acceptable. We will validate that either the names that they submit are the same or better. I don't want to have to commit our way of trying to validate. I come back with something. I can't get you all together to confirm. So you're taking my word for it that, as I've said, we will make sure that the names are acceptable. There is by adding this stipulation on the motion, makes it impossible for me to validate for each and every one of the 10 of you that I have done so and in a manner that is acceptable to you.
I think you may have misunderstood. That it's acceptable to staff.
Acceptable to staff. CORC.
Well, but that goes without saying. How do I validate that for you? Because you're the ones who are voting on it, right? These are why when we add the stipulations on the motions, they always cause me challenges.
Basically, we're delegating to you to vet it and approve it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's up to you. We're just saying that that's part of the motion, that we want staff to make sure that the staff proposed has been adequately vetted and acceptable.
And I understand that. That's why
it's not coming back to us.
Motion.
No. We're pushing it onto you.
Okay.
But we're doing that so that you don't have to come back to us. I understand the practical problems of this. So,
Jim Alt.
I'm assuming that that this has passed staff's criteria already. They've brought it forward for our approval. So I would just suggest that we move forward.
Okay, we had
amended motion.
amended motion, and do we have a second on the amended motion?
Yes, I seconded it.
Okay, all right, then we're ready for staff to do PC 5.
So we're ready to amend the motion.
Okay. So the amended motion is what we're now voting on.
You have to amend it first. So you have to vote on adding this amendment.
Okay, so
What if Mr. Cheshire withdraws his motion?
You cannot do that. It's on the floor already.
let's just go ahead. The staff is going to poll us to vote on the amendment.
To add an amendment.
To add the amendment?
To add the, okay.
So go ahead, staff, poll us.
Wait, hold on. Give me the amendment again.
Michael Gelfand, what was the amendment?
That it's subject to the contractor providing the required names and that it's approved by staff.
Okay. Basically what we've been saying. Good. Okay. All right. Poll everybody for accepting the amendment.
Okay. Bruce Alexander?
Yes, although I would say parenthetically that I sort of agree with Jim. I think by the time these things come to us, that vetting has already happened and it's sort of intuitively embedded in any approval that we have that the procedures are going to be followed. But I have no objection to, subject to those comments, I have no objection to the amendment.
David Porter?
Yes.
France Makabu?
Yes.
Jim Ald?
I just don't know if this is it gonna work? I mean, I don't, what are we gonna get back? I mean,
Nothing.
It'll keep it on track.
We don't get anything back.
okay, so the original just goes forward. This amendment really doesn't do anything.
It just directs staff to get the backup information and be acceptable as they would do anyway.
Without this information, we should not be approving this proposal, all right? It should be dead, DOA on arrival, because it's an incomplete statement. Recognizing that the project is desired to move forward, and we do have trust of staff to evaluate this, what we're doing is we're delegating in this one instance for staff to approve it. Now, this is not to make a precedent, because if this occurs again, I think there are a number of us that would say, no, we're voting against this because the bids need to be complete. And I thank John especially for going through and identifying this, because it is a critical part, because it validates the numbers also for the package. And that's a critical part of what we're doing on behalf of the public.
Let it go.
Project.
I'll say yes if it helps us move forward.
John Cheshire?
Yes.
Kevin Wilkinson?
My answer would be yes, and I would endorse Bruce's comments on it, though. Thank you.
Lisa Revis?
Yes.
Michael Gelfand?
Yes.
Michael Guida?
Yes.
Virginia Ferris?
Lose Virginia?
Yes, and now we're ready for the main motion.
Yes, correct.
Isn't that voting on the same thing we just voted on?
No, you just voted
No,
on
that was
adding that to it.
That was just the amendment.
Okay. All right,
Just get everybody to say yes again.
go ahead.
Okay. I need to call everybody's name again?
Yes.
Sir? Okay. Bruce Alexander?
Yes, again.
David Porter?
Yes.
France Makabu?
Yes.
Jim Ald?
Yes.
John Cheshire?
No.
Okay.
No.
That means John does not want this item to go forward. Because we're now voting on the whole item.
Just continue.
Kevin Wilkinson?
Yes.
Lisa Revis?
Yes.
Michael Gelfand?
Yes.
Michael Guida?
Well, yes.
Virginia Ferris?
Yes. But we need to know why John is voting no on the kind of in this item go forward.
Who made the original motion?
John Cheshire.
John made the original motion.
So can he know his own motion?
Because he doesn't agree with, I guess, the amendment,
John Cheshire, you there?
They voted for the amendment.
I am here.
but he doesn't agree
You
with,
need to give staff your reason for dissenting.
I think that's.
The reason is because the CM didn't list the personnel that they're assigning to the project in their GMP proposal.
Okay, thank you.
Is he allowed to?
Yeah, he can have his reasons. I mean,
No,
he can,
Okay, we're down to PC7 and John Cheshire.
This is, let's see here, Moss and pre-construction services, where they did not list any SBE subconsultants. And yet during the presentation, they said they were going to have SBE subconsultants involved in pre-construction. And the answer I got back was that Messam and Bless will be participating in pre-construction services. So I guess from that, I can assume that they're going to do it for free and they're not going to get paid because their fee summary does not list any SBE subconsultants, which I don't think is the point, that they ask their SBEs to work for free.
Staff?
They're not here to comment on that. I'm going through the list because it lists out the rates in there. I don't know all the names. I know some of the names if they're working for Messam. Typically, that's where we would see it.
Go to attachment F. Does it, that says a SPE participation letter? Did you look at that, John? Page 7, the index, so. Attachment F.
Which attachment what?
F is in Frank.
That's gonna be way down.
Page 7. Further.
It's further than that.
What page of the PDF is that?
Trying to find it. It was in the index.
Essentially, what'll happen is that the staff that they use will take the place of the staff on that they list out on their proposal of Messam. So they will have SBE participation throughout the entire project. And we do check it before when we reconcile everything before the GMP, at the GMP, and then at the end of the project to make sure they comply with that. That gets sent to the Office of Small Business and they verify that's in compliance.
Page 245 is attachment L, and that's the only attachment in the document. I don't see an attachment. It's C.
Right. I think those attachments go to the GMP. They're not part of the pre-construction services.
Is it 245?
That's where the exhibits are. Attachments. Says attachment L on 245, but nothing, looking for F in the index of the.
Way at the end. Here's what, no,
The table of contents.
here's the C.
So in their proposal response, they do submit a form that guarantees that they are going to use an SBE subconsultant. We ask for that information during the pre-construction phase, and if we have it, we send it to the Office of,
Small business, yeah.
And most times they send it back and say, we're not interested in this for this portion of the project. We're really focused on the construction portion and making sure that they're maintaining their subconsultants and subcontractors SBE during the construction phase of the project.
Would they still meet their percentages?
They do.
If they do that?
They're required to meet the percentage for the entire length of the contract. So there's nothing really saying in here that they have to have it for the.
I think they did confirm that they would be.
But they did follow up and say, yes, we do intend to use them. They did not list them on the form, but they said they do intend to use them during the pre-construction phase.
Barbara, I appreciate that. But in their proposal, they were selected under, they said they were going to be using SBE subconsultants during the contract, during pre-construction services. And I think their contract ought to include that commitment, not just, hey, a phone call, yeah, I'm going to use them. How much you going to pay them? What's the percentage? I can't believe that we're considering this contract without the SBE subconsultants that they promised. I'm going to be voting no on this one for that reason.
Well, I wonder if we can ask staff for sending that out as confirmation with a follow-up, simply because they've, I guess, verbally told purchasing staff that, yeah, they plan to use the SBEs during pre-con. It's just not in writing in any of the GM or the pre-con document we're looking at.
Yeah.
Well, their fee proposal doesn't include anybody. So if they are going to use them, they're
It
not
would come
going
out
to
of
pay.
their, no, we wouldn't pay them. They would come out of their fee.
No, but I'm
We can
saying
have
their
it
fee that they're
guys.
proposing doesn't include any SBE. So how are they saying they're going to be paid?
What they would do is substitute somebody from the small business partner into what their staff is and swap them out. So they wouldn't get that fee. They would get, that fee would go to the small business partner.
Yeah.
It's not an add-on to it. We just don't know which items that is right now.
Mr. Sanchez.
This is the second item that came up like this today in this meeting. So I'm just going to give direction to my team that when we get these responses from these contractors or architects, whoever it is, similar to the one with the other issue that Mr. Cheshire brought up, we got to get it in writing from these firms and supply that written response back to the CORC members when they ask these questions ahead of time. I mean, they give us these questions ahead of time so that we can have the chance to review them and provide responses. We need to have written responses and distribute it to more of the board members, so we wouldn't to the CORC members, so we wouldn't have this kind of conversations at these meetings. So that's my direction to my team. As for this particular item, again, we will go back to the contractor and get that in writing, have him break down his fee, what's going to the prime, what's going to the subconsultant for his pre-construction fees, and share that with the CORC members. Hopefully that will satisfy you for the vote, but if not, then I understand we'll do better going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. John, you think that's acceptable?
Well, no, I like that comment, but I'm still going to vote no.
Okay.
Because it's not in the contract, but I appreciate Mr. Sanchez saying that.
Well,
Yeah,
Mr. Myers, does the contractor provide paperwork along the way to prove that they're using their SBE subs to meet the 20% requirement?
Yes.
There's paperwork that's in place?
But what Barbara's saying is that it's over the overall length of the contract.
Yeah.
It doesn't specifically say that they have to use the SBE consultant during pre-con.
Okay.
We'll have the
I mean,
information provided to CORC. Now, can we make sure that the motion includes that stipulation? We have to vote twice.
If somebody wants to make a motion that it can go forward, but with the caveat that staff will respond with the backup information showing how the SBE will be incorporated into pre-con that has been told to us, that would be fine. Michael Gelfand.
Yeah, I'll make the motion that CORC has no objection to proceeding, subject to the contractor confirming in writing and staff approving language that the SBE contractor will be utilized at no additional cost to the district.
Excellent. Okay, good motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
And identifying that contractor.
Yes. Okay, got a first, got a second. Any other comments, discussion? All right, staff?
Bruce Alexander,
Yes.
David Porter,
Yes.
Franz Makaboon,
Yes.
Jim Ald.
I'm just gonna say I agree with John on this. If there's a commitment to use them in pre-construction in the proposal, then it needs to be included in their GMP. That's pretty standard. So I do agree with John on that, but I'm gonna vote yes to move it forward.
John Chester,
No.
Kevin Wilkinson,
My answer is yes, and I thank Mr. Sanchez for his comments.
Lisa Revis,
No.
Michael Gelfand,
Yes.
Michael Guida,
Yes.
Virginia Farish,
Yes, and I want to thank Mr. Sanchez for his direction to staff because he's correct. We should not be having to ask these questions today. Thank you.
Okay,
We need Ms. Revis to confirm.
Ms. Revis, we need kind of a
And John Cheshire.
statement about your dissenting vote.
I don't think that CORC should be asked to vote on an incomplete contract.
Okay? Thank you.
Wasn't this vote the vote to amend the original item?
No.
Okay,
That's why I asked.
We got this one.
Make sure that
No
all
amendment.
right, because I must have been writing. Okay,
Mr. Gelfand had given a nice, concise
gotcha.
motion.
I was writing. Okay, thank you.
All right, we are
Cheshire have to
consent.
say his dissent? Cheshire, does he have to say his? Oh,
John Cheshire, want to give us a of your dissenting vote?
Yeah, I'm voting no because the CM promised SBE subconsultants during pre-construction services in his proposal, and it wasn't included in his contract.
Okay, thank you. And
I'll
I'll just,
Chair,
Yes.
I appreciate Mr. Speaker's comments. I recognize that these two have been an anomaly, but the next time this happens, I'm likely to vote no on it. So I got a feeling the rest of the court may be feeling the same. Thank you.
the comment I was going to make is that, John, I think you were on the selection committee, weren't you?
I was.
And so really, John's the only one that would have known what was in the proposal other than staff. So if John hadn't picked that up, we wouldn't have known it. Because I was on the selection committee. So that's for staff to have good follow through to make sure that what we're being told in proposals is what we get. Virginia.
John's eagle eye is fantastic.
I want to thank John for what he has picked up. This is the last on the consent agenda items, and the questions that have come forward beforehand have been very valuable, and I really appreciate those of you with that expertise asking those questions and getting the answers from staff. Thank you.
Yes, Barbara.
I also just want to echo that. I do appreciate Cheshire's comments regarding what's missing on these documents. When this question came up, we happened to be negotiating the contract for the pre-construction phase for North Tech Riviera Beach when this question came up, and that vendor did the exact same thing, did not include the SBE subconsultant. So during the negotiation, we, corrected that and they did add it. So it's valuable information. Thank you.
All right, moving along. Staff updates.
Okay, well, if we can, I'm going to start off with Mr. Cheshire, with Mr. Sanchez to put in his first sentiments on the new school year, and then Michael and I will offer our comments as well.
Well, actually, I don't want to steal Dave and Michael's thunder. They're the guys who are closest to getting our newer schools built and all the projects that were done over the summer. I'll give you guys the opportunity to take credit for all those. I will just say that the construction projects that we do have an impact on the rest of our operations. Shadow View allowed us to eliminate the buses that were taking students from Arden over to Binks Forest. So now we recovered, I think, 5 or 6 buses. Those routes we no longer have to do. Same thing with Winbrook. We were temporarily housing Winbrook over at Crestwood Middle School in Royal Palm Beach, and that occupied another 6 or 7 buses, and we no longer have those to do that with those buses. So as a result of that, we're able to improve our operations on the transportation side. So one hand washes the other, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And then similarly, I was on the first day of school, I had a chance to attend actually serve lunch at the Watson High School.
Yes.
Did a re-engineering project there. We put a new the food court. That's the 9th re-engineered kitchen that we've done, or cafeteria that we've done. And again, that I think I was told by our food service manager that our first day lunches were up something like 21% from last year. So kids are really enjoying that setup and the food that they're getting at that re-engineered. So thank you for approving a number of those projects. They're definitely making an impact in a number of different ways in our schools. And there's other things. I just went by Forest Hill High School with that parking lot you guys are talking about, much improved over there, the way that operates. Several things that we do here that come through CORC allow us to make our schools much more efficient. So I want to offer my thanks and appreciation for the entire team, because you guys have a hand in that. You guys are volunteers and you give a lot of time to get this done. So thank you for all you do. But I'm going to let Dave go into more. Dave and Mike go into more of some of the projects that they've done.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I'll keep my comments short because I know my report later and you guys aren't going to want to hear me talk. No, it was a great start of the school year. I will say, I'll let Michael talk about the details of some of the projects. But for me, it's really exciting time of year for us. Even our staff gets the opportunity to see the kids coming in. The week before school starts, a lot of the schools actually have their meet the teacher. And our staff are always around during those wrap-up days of construction and making sure they get to see through the work that it's done and school is good and ready. I really appreciate this time of year because they get to see who they are working for. We collectively, this body of folks, we may get lost in the idea of the contracts and the details behind what we're building. But every once in a while, it really is a pleasurable thing for staff to be able to go and see who they're doing it for. The kids, my one example that I'll touch on is we had a facility renewal we've been working on at Roosevelt Elementary. Our team did an incredible job. Mark and his team did a great job. They were last minute rushing to get some of the flooring done, and their media center, we didn't think we were going to get it done, but the team got it done and waxed. Now we put the same old furniture back, but the kids came in for that parent, for that meet the teacher, and I swear they felt like it was a new school. They were, exuding happiness that they felt like they got something for them, that we gave them a brand new media center. No, we just gave them new flooring and lighting. We're going to get them new furniture, right, Mr. Sanchez? But yes, our little impacts make a huge effect on these kids. And so for me, it was this is a great time of year to see that. That's my comments for now.
Yeah, I know we touched on the new schools a lot and the high profile stuff, but I guess what my comment is all the other background stuff. I know teachers and students would disagree with me to say that the summer's short, but for us, it's really short, 7 weeks to get a lot of work done. And, we had tons and tons of air conditioning and switchgear and lights and all kinds of flooring went in that sometimes it goes unnoticed, but it just makes critical for the school to operate. So I want to comment on that. All our contractors and architects and staff did a great job compressing a ton of work in a short period of time.
Yeah. And as always, this case doesn't stop because now we get to work on nights and weekends and whatnot. But we're going to continue on the efforts.
Okay,
All right, in progress work.
we have that up. Okay.
Mr. Chair, my apologies. I've got to scoot out. I'm not going to break the quorum, am I?
No, I think we still have a quorum, don't we, Dorothy?
Yes.
Yes, we do, Michael. Thank you,
very
Michael.
Appreciate
See ya.
it.
Thank you, sir. Okay, as I always say, I'll try to be brief, but I never am. We're going to quickly go through these first round of slides. Dorothy, if you, or whoever's running, David, you can see our updates on the money, the receipts and the expenditures. We're still catching up, but we're getting there. As you'll note by the next slide, talks about all our upcoming solicitations. We've got quite a number of RFPs and contracts coming out. These are the slides for you all to see what's coming up in the coming months in front of you. Next one. The next series of slides, I'm not going to get into the details because as I always mention, our facility renewals continue on. Now we're getting into a lot more, but at a lot lower dollar value. So it's an immense number of projects that are underway or about to get underway. So these are our planning stage, the design and GMP activities. You can see this mimics some of the original slide. Talked about the charts. Okay, and I think I counted this month. I think I was like 28 schools listed under here that we're working on facility renewals. And again, please feel free to scroll through these more rapidly, but these are the ongoing things. As I say, these are the ones that make a difference, that they come into the school at the start of the new school year and get to see all this work done. It may go, mom and dad may not see it, but the kids really get to feel it. So, and as Michael said, kudos to staff for keeping these projects moving. Here's the photos of some of the examples of the work that's ongoing. Continuing on. Okay, Saddleview Elementary, that's our Arden West Acreage. That school is open and hopefully some of you have gotten the chance to see it on TV. It's truly an incredible facility. Great for the community. It matches the community vernacular. Go ahead and scroll on through. On that slide right there, you'll notice that we have the solar panels down there, just to the left of the play courts.
Is that the track, a running track?
No, the blue is this bus loop.
That's a bus. Oh, okay.
Looks like it could be a track.
Yes.
Here's the solar panel.
Panels
Yeah.
right there. Yep. Right by the blue.
You only have one bus at that school, so it could be a running track.
Did we buy the solar panels or were they through FPL?
We bought them. So the solar panels on that project run the courtyard garden that they have, the hydroponic garden. So all the equipment that they have runs off those solar panels. So it's like a self-contained mini net zero plant courtyard, the lighting and all that kind of stuff.
No battery backup?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, next school up is Winbrook Elementary, our modernization of that school. Or I think there was one building that we renovated and could be one, and a new office space and classroom buildings. They also opened up on Monday. And again, a huge impact to the neighborhood. These students were temporarily housed, occupied the holding campus at Crestwood Middle. Now they are back to their community, their neighborhood school. This is exciting for the school students, but also for the entire community. And these have a lot more interior photos. So I'm happy to say you get to see a little bit what the insides look like. And by the way, all those playgrounds are up and good. The shade structures are coming on both of them. So, on both schools. So that you'll notice that they look uncovered now. There was another photo, that one right there shows the structure. They'll all be covered, in short order. Okay, West Riviera Elementary modernization, you'll notice is, well underway. It continues on. I want to say, early next year.
Yeah.
January-ish,
yeah.
Early or earlier, so next year, we anticipate completion of construction. So if you want to scroll onto those photos, because you kind of see the impacts. There we go.
It's not planned to open until next school year.
It is no opening up next August,
Right.
correct? So we'll have more of an opportunity to review it. Okay. Next one I have on here is something we might have talked about, South Intensive. That is over at what's called the Old South Tech campus. The school has, I guess, rebranded. They are referred to as Rise Academy. And also, I anticipate this, what this is a renovation of the Old South Tech Building 2. You'll see it on the first slide, but it's basically classrooms, food service, and transportation, et cetera. So it is, we're anticipating this is going to be open early in 2026, and certainly appreciated by the community because right now they're in portables on campus. So we're going to have them in their good, high quality space, high quality renovated space. Next one up is Historic Roosevelt. We've probably talked about this quite a bit. This is the gymnasium is being renovated, the shop building is being renovated, and we've constructed a new 2-story classroom building. And forgive me, I don't remember when this is going to be.
It's March, April.
March or April. Okay, so we're looking all for the same time. It seems like all of them are coming in at the same time. You can see the gymnasium there on the bottom, and then to the top of it is the new 2-story building right there, and then the shop is to the left. And this is the phase, as we always refer to it as phase 1. Those 3 buildings will be occupied, and I presume in the summer, because it's an adult education facility, I think they run their first programs in the summer. So I think that's when we would anticipate this opening up. And there's the old historic facility along Tamarind right there.
That's phase 2.
That'll be, as mentioned, that will be our phase 2 project. And we're starting the design now. Okay. There you go. Next time I'm putting that slide up near the front.
The top.
That's the brand new 2-story building. And that's the 2-story building with the shop building next to it. Interior spaces. Okay. And now this is where I usually tell all the work that Dorothy's doing, but now it's actually not just Dorothy, it's Dorothy, David, and Marquise. Quite a number of different projects ongoing. You can see them all there. This is just a small smattering of the projects. Under construction. Okay. Now I get to get to the good stuff. Jupiter High School has both a brand new field house funded by a donor and a media center project ongoing. As mentioned, the Forest Hill parking lots that we have, these are the golf course parking lots.
Looks good.
Some roof projects. few drainage projects. And that's just a smattering. There's obviously quite a great number more. Are there any questions?
Actually, I got a question for Mr. Sanchez. Do we have any of the electric buses arrived and are in operation?
Yeah, we have 5 buses this week. We'll have 13 next week. We had to do we got 8 in recently at the end of the summer, just before start of school. We had to train the drivers on those. So yeah, by next week we'll have 13 in. Hopefully by the end of this month we'll have 20 electric buses running.
How has the feedback been so far and the mileage you're getting out of them?
The feedback's been great by the students, by the drivers. Everybody loves them. Obviously we put them on routes that we can sustain them on, so that we don't put them on routes that take them too far. But in fact, we put them on routes that we can run the buses on the same charge, meaning that we charge them overnight, don't have to charge them again during the middle of the day. So we charge them once for the entire day, for the morning route and the afternoon route. So I forget the distance that the maximum distance that we run them on, but it's probably less than 150 to 200 miles over that for the morning and afternoon between the two runs.
That's a decent distance.
Yeah. Like I said, it's probably closer to the 100 than it is the 200, I think.
Can we identify those buses by sight? If we see one, would we know what it is?
Yeah, you have to look closely. Right now, the ones that are on the road are all special education buses. So first of all, you can probably see there's a door for the wheelchair, so you can tell that. But right above the window, right above the door where students enter, instead of a blue, they're all Bluebird buses, but instead of a Bluebird, it'll be a green Bluebird. So a green bird.
Green bird.
The green bird, right? So you can see the green on the buses, but the state of Florida is very particular about what information you can put on the outside of buses. So you really couldn't change a whole lot, but you'll see it'll be green instead of blue.
Are they smaller?
No, they're the same size as our regular buses.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Okay. All right, down to follow-up. We had a follow-up document, basically said we're going to kick the can down the curb a little bit more, and that's fine. Any discussion items by CORC members? Anything we haven't talked about? All right, on your agenda, the next CORC meeting is September 11th. Any issues with minutes by anyone? All right, hearing none, minutes are accepted. Anything we want specifically for staff to come back to us with? I don't think, Dorothy, we had anything outstanding that was coming back other than what's listed in follow-up.
Not that I'm aware of.
Right. All right, anything else by anyone? All right, then, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.